Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is Sunday, what is it, 30th? So I am filming this now in anticipation of letting you guys know what I read in the month of June. Now I'm not counting today because yes, I could finish a book in a day, but I don't have enough time to do that. So without further ado, let's get into them. And my battery is flashing. 1 second. Back to our regularly scheduled programming now that we have a new battery. If you knew and watched my last video, I had a very aggressive TBR for the month of June, and needless to say, I did not feel it, didn't get it done. I put 9 books, normally on average for me, and I am a person that has a normal job, so bear with me there. I usually only get about 6 books in. This month was the worst month I've had so far this year because I got into a slump in the middle of June. I know. So without further ado, let's get into the books I did read this month that were actually on my TBR, and then one that was not, that it was a very unexpected, unplanned surprise, and I'm obsessed with it. So the first one I'm gonna start off with is Meet Me at the Lake by Carley Fortune. Now, I'm not gonna say that this was inherently a bad book, but this one, I feel like this author, and I discussed it last month when I read her other one, Every Summer After, the first one, she takes elements from other things and incorporates them in the books. I have no problem with that. But to me, it was a little bit annoying and excessive in this book. She kept talking and referencing Dirty Dancing. Like, if you've ever seen Dirty Dancing, which if you haven't, you need to go watch right now. In fact, stop this video and go watch it and then come back and rewatch the video. But it stars Jennifer Grey and Patrick Swayze, and basically it's the summer of how Baby goes to camp. Or not camp, it's like this, if you've ever seen Miss Maisel when they go to like the Catskills for the summer, it's kind of like that. So basically it's like a summer vacation for everybody, but it lasts the whole summer. So she compares her mom's resort in this to that, and that she's never really wanted to run it, and then her mom passes away unexpectedly and she's expected to take over because her mom left it for her in the will. And so you kind of see her go through and navigate, do I want to keep this, do I not want to keep this, and the struggles and turmoils that come with grief. Now, as someone who has lost their mother, I didn't find this book highly relatable in the grief avenue. That does not mean that other people will not, but I definitely would pick up Ashley Poston's books, especially The 7-Year Slip or The Dead Romantics, because I feel like those two, as far as character stories, tend to describe grief a little bit better, and I felt like I could relate to it a little bit more. Like I said, every video, everybody's grief journey is different, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Maybe you loved this book. I just didn't, it wasn't for me. The romance was a little bit, Carley Fortune does the thing where she does like past and present, so like this was basically based on one encounter in a 24-hour period, this massive connection she had with this guy that she meets when she's in Toronto, going to college. And then it fast forwards to, I think it's like 10 years later. Let me see. Anyway, give or take, it's 10 years. There was some quotes that I did underline in here, but overall, I felt like the main girl was a little bit pick-me. She wasn't my favorite. She was kind of just not, none of it was really doing it for me. So I gave this a 3 stars only because I would have possibly been lowered. Actually, I think I rated it a 2 on my Goodreads, to be honest. She just doesn't work for me. Now, if you love this and it's your favorite book, I'm sorry, I'm not crapping on your favorite book. That's why we all have many diverse tastes, and that's why the book community is so great. But this one was definitely a flop for me. I'm not gonna get into the one that is unexpected. Let's talk about Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas, because that was in this week's, or this reading wrap up. Basically, this one took me the longest to get through of all the Throne of Glasses that I've read so far. I'm on the next one, Queen of Shadows, and I'm about a quarter of the way through it. I'm on like page 200 and something, and it's like a 600-page book. This one, it was just very slow in certain parts, but there were a lot of things that I did like in this. I loved Rowan and Rowan and Celaena's relationship. I love how he kind of helped bring her out of her shell and kind of, I liked the storyline, but as we all know, with any Sarah J. Maas books, it does take until pretty much the last, I think it was like 200 pages, I would say, for this one, where it really like kicked into high gear and I didn't want to stop reading. That to say that Queen of Shadows is a lot better. I did love Queen of Shadows, and I need to get back to reading that one, but I have a new obsession that currently crept in, and yeah. But I will definitely, this one was, I rated I think a 3-star just because this wasn't my favorite one so far in the series that I've read. But I would definitely recommend you checking out the Throne of Glass series if you loved ACOTAR. It's very good. Most people just after they read ACOTAR, go to this series. This one's been around a lot longer than ACOTAR has, but I did really like this one. It just was a lot slower in parts, and it kind of made me a little bit slumpy in between last month and this month, which was when I started it, because it took me a couple months to finish this bad boy. Now, the book that put me in a slump that I honestly did not see coming, and Sarah Caroli talked about it actually in her video describing this book, and she said it was slow. And I was like, okay, but you know, reading's subjective. Maybe it's not that slow. Maybe the world building doesn't take that long. Let me preface this by saying it's a very good book. Is it the most uplifting fantasy I've ever read? No. It's very war-torn, very, there are some things that I would look up trigger warning wise, just because there's a few things mentioned quite a few times. It doesn't actually, I can't say that because I don't want to give away, but there are just some things that keep getting brought up that I think that if you or anyone close to you has experienced those, might be uncomfortable. As a person who has not experienced it, it was very uncomfortable for me as a woman. So let me preface that by saying it's a very good book. I have all the other ones over there that I have bought, and I will be reading them so I can give you a full perspective on how I feel about the entire series as a whole. But without further ado, this is Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I like this book. It's not a bad book. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm just saying that I felt like it was very slow. The majority of this was all world building, and it kind of gave me, it dragged. I honestly, this is what put me in a slump. It took me 2 weeks to finish this, and there's like 400 something odd pages. That's like unheard of for me. It just doesn't have, like, it just was so slow, and then some of the scenes were just so, I don't even know. I think we see a lot of character development for Leia, which is really good, and Elias, and kind of choosing between where he wants to take his life. It's a good novel. Is it my favorite? No. I'm hoping that the next ones are better, but this one was just a little bit slow for me. It wasn't a complete flop, but it did take me 2 weeks to read it, so it definitely is a slow burn. It's a lot of world building, like a lot of world building, and at times it got kind of boring. Like, you know how sometimes when you get annoyed in like The Hobbit or whatever, when they're describing a tree for like 3 or 4 pages, that kind of vibe, that kind of story. But it does have rebellions. It does have, it kind of like at the beginning gave me a little bit of like Empire vibes from Star Wars, kind of like similar type things, because there's a rebellion going on and whatnot. Yeah, it's not my favorite, but I am definitely going to finish the series to let you know, guys know what I think about the series as a whole. Now, this last one was completely unexpected. Did not see this coming, didn't think it was going to be a thing whatsoever. I was shopping for my birthday books. Every year for the last few years, I've gone to Barnes & Noble and picked up a few books for my birthday. Now, let me just start by saying that it's not like I need any more. In fact, I have some literally, excuse me, on my kitchen counter right now that are not on a shelf. But I am moving into my new place within the next few weeks, so I'm going to be in the process of moving and building another shelf to put these all on, because I have hordes of books in my closet and then on my counter that need to be put away in shelves so that I can read them and admire them. Actually read them though. Without further ado though, this book has been one that I had seen growing up, like when I was preteen/teen, but never picked it up. So it's one of those oldies but goodies. I'm so pissed that I've never read this sooner, because I'm obsessed with the character, and I was talking to the girl at Barnes & Noble and she said that this is one of her favorite series of all time, and it started her attraction to morally gray men, which I 100% agree. So that is none other than Hush Hush by Becca Fitzgerald. I loved this book. You can see the tabs. I did red. I started with the black ones for this, but quickly decided that I didn't like that as much. I liked the red because it matches the little, the feathers up here. This was great. This was an unexpected win for me. I've always heard a lot of hype about this one, but I've never picked it up until now, and I've looked at it several times in Barnes & Noble, but I've never bought it. Well, I decided to buy it, and now I have a new book boyfriend, and his name is Patch. Patch is great. I love Patch. I love Nora. I love this whole story. This whole story was great. Like, it was so good. I loved the lore. I loved the way that they explained everything. If you've ever read Nevermore, I'll insert the author's name here. I cannot think of her name for the life of me. I read that when I was in my freshman year of college, and it's one of my favorite books to this day, and I still think about it. It kind of gave me similar vibes in that capacity, where it's like got that, you don't know who's the good guy, you don't know who's the bad guy. It takes place in high school. This is YA, by the way. You've got that element of, you know, is this guy, like I just said, the good guy or the bad guy? Am I trusting the wrong person? Am I trusting the, you know? And I really like it. I also love her and her best friend V's relationship in this book. I think it's very good. I do want to say that some of the things that they talk about as far as V, and because V is described as more voluptuous, and they talk about diet culture, this book definitely shows its age in that capacity. This was several years ago, obviously, so you kind of see that. I know that they've discussed that in the Summer I Turned Pretty series, and that you can kind of suss out that it's not, it doesn't age well in certain spots. So I would say in that capacity, it was disappointing to hear about her friend and all the diets that she was going on. But other than that, I loved this book. This book was fantastic. I love the cover. This cover hasn't changed in years, and I never want them to touch it, because this to me is beautiful. I love the way that it is, and I love Patch. Like, he is my perfect broody book boyfriend. Let me just pull a quote from the beginning so I don't follow. And this one I related to so much. It says, "You don't know how to trust. I take that back. You trust just all the wrong people. And my first," I demanded, "you keep life on a short leash." What's that supposed to mean? You're scared of what you can't control. Now, you may be saying, "Alex, it's not like that prophetic. It's not whatever." As a person that is a deeply mistrusting person, because I have been screwed over several times by people, I felt this in my soul. Let me just say that. And I love him. I think he is great. And his nickname for her is Angel, which is kind of funny regarding whatever you find out later, what you find out later, I mean. But it's very good. It's also got that forbidden element to it, but I'm not gonna go into exactly why, because that would give away the preface of the book. But please, please, please go buy this. If you've seen this before, occasionally it'll creep up on like Book Talks pages. That's not why I picked this up. I've heard about this for a long time, and everybody raves about it. And to be honest, it was worth everything, and I've already ordered the second one. I read this in 2 days, by the way. Not even 2 days, 24 hours. It's 390 pages, and I polished it like that, like it was nothing. The font is a little bit larger, but still, a win is a win. A win is a win, okay? So, go pick up Hush Hush by Becca Fitzgerald. Can you tell that this was my favorite book of the month? But that is the end of today's video. I did realize that I missed a lot. I think I put too much pressure on myself, and there was so much fantasy on my list that I got burnt out, and it just wasn't good for me, and I decided to kind of take my pace, and then I got into a slump, like I said. So I think from now on, I'm not gonna try to form a solid TBR. I think I'm gonna have like a general idea of what I would like to read for the month, but maybe not harp so much on everything else. But that is the end of today's video. I hope you stay tuned for my birthday book haul that's coming up. These are just gonna be the books that I purchased for myself. I did ask for some from my dad and my brother. But yeah, I'm so excited. I can't wait to get moved into my new place. I am so ready to be moved on from this apartment and the memories that hold here, because the majority of them are not positive. And I can't wait to just be in a new environment, and I think that will help me a lot mentally. But I want to thank you for watching today's video, and if you like videos like this, please feel free to subscribe. I also do all kinds of things nerdy. I cosplay, I do all kinds of different other stuff, and I go to Disney because I am a local in the state of Florida to Orlando. So if you like that kind of content, also subscribe. I have some fun things coming up that I have planned next week. Oh, this upcoming week for my birthday. So I love you guys. I hope you have a great day, good morning, good night, whatever you are watching, and I hope you have a good one. Bye.